I'm going to tell you about my journey with Talk Club. I'm going to tell you how it all began. My name is Ben Aker. I'm the co-CEO, co-founder of Talk Club, a male mental health charity. I'm going to talk about, as you guys probably already know, I'm going to talk about suicide. I'm going to go and talk about mental ill health. So if you are affected by this, if you are triggered, please look after yourself first. It's really, really important for me. Because we don't want to know, your safety is very important to me. Suicide is the biggest killer of men under 50. Statistically, the thing most likely to kill me is me. 76% of suicides are male. A man takes his own life every 2 hours. So by the time I've come down here and left here today, I know the man's gone. On International Men's Day, that's pretty shitty. So, and it sort of, every time I give these talks, it sort of hits me with that moment of no matter what we're all doing, this is still going on. So we need to sort of get together and we need to talk about it. One of those men was this beautiful young man here, Stephen Yates, my childhood best friend, who unfortunately 10 years ago believed that the world was better off without him and decided not to be here anymore. It hit me pretty hard, and even just talking about him now, I've already talked about him twice today, it hits me. It's raw for me still, especially when I do these talks. He wasn't a statistic. He wasn't just a number. He was a man. He was a father, a son, a brother, and he was a friend. He was my friend. And it's really hard to sort of to keep on thinking about him being gone. If I'm honest, I talked to his cousin today, and it is hard to think about him, even a decade on. When I got the news that Steve had taken his own life from his cousin, I thought mental ill health was the furthest thing from where he was. And I think that's the thing about, especially growing up in a working class environment, we don't talk about this type of things. We don't. The last thing we would ever think about, especially as men of my age, was suicide. So I grew up in advertising. I used to make films. I used to sort of write TV ads and sort of stuff like that. And what I decided to do was try and take on suicide. Try and take on. I got angry with it. I got angry with the thought of suicide and those horrible statistics. So I used what skills I had, and I decided to make a film. And this is the trailer for that film. I'm sorry to all my family. I've been suffering from anxiety and anger for a number of years. I'm so sorry I ended up this way. Parents should never have to bury their children. Steve Yates was my childhood best friend. He was generous, funny. You just enjoyed being around him. But on the 28th of May 2014, he took his own life.
Naturally, I think of Steve every day. You know, in always on, I think of Steve, you know. When they win, I think, oh, he'd be pleased today.
Then I get up in the morning and I think about him. If I'm not busy, then I'm thinking about him. Yeah, and it breaks my heart.
He was one of 4,500 men who take their own lives in the UK every year.
We refer to them as the holy shit numbers. So, single largest killer of men under 45. 1 every 2 hours, 84 a week, 75% of suicides are male.
Guys in their 20s have this really cool social connect. But when they hit their 40s, they're socially not connected, so they feel they can't ring anyone. They feel isolated.
Steve is a documentary about male mental health. How many men are hiding their feelings, don't know how to ask for help, and what they can do about it. So,
For the past 6 months, I've travelled the country talking to people about this epidemic.
There's almost a kind of a slight amount of resistance actually seeing that there's a problem.
I did the typical bloke thing, what all men do when they start suffering from mental health issues. I kept it to myself.
In my experience, if you come from a working class background, it's not deemed acceptable to talk about certain emotions. And I didn't have the language to talk about certain emotions.
I do get quite a few men saying, I'm only here because my wife told me to come. But I am hopeful that things are changing.
Because this is a film of hope, to help men help themselves. I wanted to empower someone else. I've got to change someone else's life.
Andy Roberts Coffee Club is only here to do it. I've got to do it for him. Can't all the guys doing this. This is bullshit.
Wherever you think it is, it's not that bad and we can fix it. But we need you to try to fix it as well.
On a plane, when they tell you put on your own mask first before you put on your child, you've got to look after you before you can look after other people.
But no matter how bad things get, they will get better.
So we released that in March 2019, and the idea was going to where men were, so I did it as a pub tour. I went up and down the country. We did 50 screenings of Steve before we got locked down. And what I was finding was that a lot of men were, everywhere I went, no matter if it was in Aberdeen or Falmouth, we did prisons, we did pubs, we did wherever men were, what I found was that they were going through the same stuff. And as I was doing the pre-screening, we sort of do a couple of pre-screens to make sure it's not complete crap. And I sort of found that people come out to me going, "Oh, you've opened me up now. Now what do you want me to do?" So with people that we met through the film, Gav did the music, Blue is in the film, Tom's in the film, my wife's a producer of the film, and Neil was producer as well. 6 of us founded Talk Club. So Talk Club is a male mental health charity. We look at it as more of a mental fitness movement is the way that we talk about it, because what we find is that when we all talk about mental health, most people don't know what that is. People think about mental health as mental ill health. That's what we go to straight away. We don't have this sort of this understanding of what it is versus our physical health. So if you look at our physical health, you can have everything from sprained ankle to cancer, right? That's your physical health. But when we talk about mental ill health, mild anxiety, the fact that we wanted a lot more here today, anxiety driving, to schizophrenia, right? So you've got all this level, but when we talk about, everyone seems to go to the negative when it comes to mental health. So we find that mental fitness is a lot more positive way of language. And the way that we get there is, as you've seen at the back, as you've got on my t-shirt, is how are you out of 10? We call this the truth question. So we ask everyone to sort of check in with themselves, and that's how every talk club begins, with this question of how are you out of 10. So in front of you is a flyer. Please pick up one of these flyers. These are in the centre pages is the rules on how to talk. Men don't read instructions, but we need rules on how to talk.
That's class.
So what we do is, so when we came up with this, I sort of went, okay, what's the first thing a bloke's going to do with this? He's going to fold it in half. He's going to fold it in half again. He's going to fold it in half again. He's going to chuck it in his pocket. So I'm going to use every side of this to convince you to be part of Talk Club. These little beauties are folded by my children. I changed the stock so that the little fingers could work harder with them. They charged me, they were being paid a penny a go for them. They unionised, came back to me with 5p a go. We settled on 2, and I'm now trying to teach them how to invoice. So, but this is the thing that we're about. We're about sort of that tangibility. We're about making everything simple, and we're about using every single little way of getting men to understand that they need to look after themselves. Here's a little video about how Talk Club works.
What is Talk Club? Talk Club is a talking and listening community for men. A mental fitness movement, like going to the gym, but for your mind. It helps you check in with how you feel and own it. It's all based around how are you out of 10 and explaining why. So, how does it work? It begins online. Go to talkclub.org, join the online community and find a club near you. Groups are held in private areas of public spaces where men feel comfortable, like above pubs or gyms. There are normally 8 to 10 men to a talk. The captain leads the group and reminds everyone to switch off their phones, to respect each other and give no advice. Everything stays confidential between the group. There's a talking ball so everyone can take their turn to talk, and most importantly, not talk over each other. Each man talks while everyone else listens and then passes the ball on to the next man. The captain begins with how are you out of 10, 1 being low, 10 being on top of the world. Then try and explain why. After everyone has talked, we then move on to the second round. What are the positives in your life? What moments from the last week are you really grateful for? Family, job, hobby. Then it's, what are your plans for mental fitness this week? Sleep, diet, exercise. And then before we finish, check out numbers. What are you now? This helps us to see that we can feel lighter than when we started. But it doesn't end there. You might want to join a talk and move group, where you check in, do exercise, then check out. Or at the other end of the scale, need to talk more. We now have Talk Club group therapy run by qualified therapists. Talk, move, therapy. Join us at talkclub.org.
So as I said, there's, as Neil, with his beautiful Durham tones, tells us, apparently that's the most trustworthy accent. We've got 3 areas of groups. So your Talk Club group therapy, 6 men, 8 weeks, 2-hour sessions. We're currently doing 5 an hour, aren't we? I think that's what we're looking at. So 10 for 2 hours, but 5 an hour.
Too,
yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
And then we've got talk and listen groups and our talk and exercise groups. And what's fascinating about the talk and exercise groups is that you can. They're just football. It's just football. It's running or it's skating or it's sort of like we've got loads all over Bristol and the rest all over the country. But what's fascinating about it is that you just come along, you're just talking, you're just saying your number before you check in. You go for your run or you play your football and you just check it out at the end. It's a real light touch. You don't have to be. It's not deep, meaningful. It doesn't have to be anything further than that. But that becomes a feeder to the talk and listen groups. And if you need more extra help, we now have, as I say, Talk Club therapy. The captains. I need to get a photograph of Dazzler. I love our captains are the most important thing in Talk Club. We've now trained over 700 captains since we started in 2019 and gained charity status and turned 21. And it's people like Dazzler that make TC work. These are volunteers who run our groups, and they are real men, real numbers, and real solutions. Everything we do is really simple and really to the point, if you like. We haven't had any marketing budget in the 5 years that we've been putting this thing together. So everything has been kick, bollock and scramble. But the way that I've been lucky enough, I've got the access to some of the best designers in the world. So why does it look like this then, Ben? Because I need to talk to, in my head, with the communication, we need to talk to builders and we need to talk to solicitors. We need to talk to everyone and we need to make that accessible. So everything that we do is very simple. And if we need space to talk, we say we need space to talk. We're not going to muck around with it and try and throw loads of words on a page. We now have 122 groups around the country in our 5 years, and roughly about 4,500 men in the community, which is pretty amazing considering there's only 6 of us. Meg joined us this year. We are run off our feet, but it's because of people like Dazzler and the captains that we can actually make this impact. and it's working. So since we started, we what we do is we keep everyone's numbers. We don't everything's confidential, but we just go man 1, man 2, man 3, man 4. And we keep all everyone's numbers that come in and out. Before this, 2021 was roughly about 15% rise. But what you can see from here, sort of like 5.9 check-in to currently our 6.9 check-in. So although we're only a rise of 8%, it's sort of like they're coming in, they're checking in higher, and they're leaving higher. So like a gym, you come to get fit, you keep coming to keep fit, and that's what's working. That retention level of this community, of these groups. Everything that we do is about being where men are. So I like pubs, men like pubs, so we have a non-alcoholic beer, and this even though they turned me down 3 times to actually get this beer, this is now Bristol Beer Factory's biggest selling beer, and we pick up 5% of sales, and I've employed someone off it. So Steve Barney Barnard is your area manager, isn't he? And Barney was employed purely off sales of Clearhead. The way that we look at these things is that this is a beer that does save lives. I mean, this can save a life. I've got a story down in Stroud where there's a pub down there, and they took on the beer. They picked it up. We've got cans up there, haven't we? And they've got a logo on it. They've got our Talk Club logo, and they've got our details. And someone went, "This is great. Let's set up a club here." And we set up a club there. We trained them on a Thursday. They started the club on the Tuesday. And then 2 years later, one of the blokes said to me, "I'm only alive because of this group." So I know that because of this collaboration, that man is alive, and we are saving lives for a beer. We've got coffee. So this coffee is with Wogan's. We get 10%, but not as many people buy it. So this coffee is doing well. The idea is to talk about 10, take 10 minutes out, ask yourself how you are at 10. And we got a T-shirt. We got this. The idea of this shirt was that what if we got Bristol Rovers to sponsor one arm, and Bristol City to sponsor the other, and we united people together through football. This is our Vets football team, and what we did was it's funny when you play in this shirt because you've got the diehard City fans who sort of tape up the Rovers. They can't handle it. The Rovers on their own. But what happened was this became like we treated it like it was a proper shirt, and we sold it, and I think we sold a couple of hundred at the end, which was amazing. Again, great bits of funding for TC. But being where men are, men like football, so let's get the people talking. This is really, really important to me. The first ever TC happened behind this wall in Southville, and we got Inky, a local artist, international artist, but a local artist, to do this piece. When he finished it, me and Gav, my co-CEO, and Gav's brother Dan painted it. Obviously, we just painted this bit, Dan did everything else. But painted it black before Inky came down. But what was really, really important to me was this bit here, Steve's initials. Inky put that on and didn't tell me about it until the end. So it was a real sort of moment in my heart. This time 2 years ago, everything changed. We got a phone call saying Liam Gallagher's has written a song called "Too Good for Giving Up. Can he do it for you?" And we went, "Yeah, all right then." And so the video, the music. We listened to music. The treatment came across the music video. Me being me, obviously rewrote the music video, so it's sort of like it became a 4-minute advert for Talk Club. Great song. Please listen to it. Watch the video. But we sort of went, well, what can we get Liam to do? He wouldn't hold up a sign, would he? He held up a sign, so we got him to put up a sign on his thing, and what was really interesting, this is a lot higher now, but it's sort of like the 50,000 likes, brilliant. But the 2,500 comments, engaging with the community, engaging with people, then we can signpost them to TCs. We went, what else can we do? So we got Liam again, and I was on a train trying to come up with these ideas. We got him to do a Twitter takeover, we got him to do all these other stuff, but I went, what if we get him in a T-shirt? So this is the first ever tee that we got away with, this is called the Liam, and me and Gav were sitting there in November stuffing T-shirts and sending these things all over the world to sort of Brazil and everywhere like that, because Liam fans wanted to be like Liam, so they were in a T-shirt. Then it got really weird. We got a phone call from Tyson Fury's people asking us how would we feel about Tyson Fury re-recording Sweet Caroline for us? And we went, yeah, all right then. And so Tyson Fury jumped on the 12 Club bandwagon and re-recorded that, and we made a video for him. All the community's in it. And it was a real sort of great moment, because I'm personally not a Tyson Fury fan, but we were talking to different sets of men, and that was what was great about it, because you end up talking to different sets of men. So we thought, okay, we did that with Liam, what could we do now? Well, let's get Tyson in a team. So we created, this is the Tyson tee, gold, because obviously he's the Gypsy King, and that was his tee. Then it started getting interesting. We sort of go, okay, well, maybe tees are a way, because I still haven't got a marketing budget. What if we started sort of pushing men to different areas with our tees? So we created, we got Troy Deeney, so we created the Troy, which Bob's wearing at the back. We created the Idols, which is this one, which I promised you, but I didn't bring one with me. So we started creating different T-shirts for different areas, and we've got a lot of tees on the go at the moment, are waiting to be released, as long as we can get the right people in the tees. But this became a real theme for us, getting different people into our tees and using their social media and their audiences and their communities to spread our word. That's where I'm going to leave you, I think. Well, I mean, it's been a sort of not as big as you wanted, but at least we've got the video, and at least we're all together. I mean, what we try and do at TC is we try and leave you with two ideas. We try and leave you with a concept of mental fitness, because it's really, really important to something that you can control and you can move yourself forward with, being mentally fit, to be mentally strong. And the way that you do that is asking yourself or asking someone else how they are at 10. I say this after every talk I do. I want you to take this thing away. I want you to talk to someone that you care about, and I want you to do that. And so today, on International Men's Day, when we need to sort of celebrate the positive men in our lives, I'd like you to ask any man that you sort of reach out to your dads, reach out to your brothers, reach out to your granddads, and sort of tell them that you care about them, and tell them that they're positive in your lives, and ask them how they are at 10. I sort of did this talk 4 years ago, and I sort of said to them, and there's one moment that always sticks with me. And this man took my details afterwards and sort of followed up with me, and he goes, I reached out to a man that I was worried about, my best friend, who was about to be his best man. And he said to me, he rang him and he sort of said, how are you out of 10? Long pause, I'm a 3. And the floodgates opened. And there was moments of going to call off the wedding, there was moments of I want to run away, and he contemplated suicide. And just being heard, just being listened to and heard is quite a lot what we all need. We all need to be heard. That man went on to have the wedding. The best man's speech was brilliant, apparently, and both men are in TC, and the groom had a little baby boy. So I know those moments. What we hear, unfortunately, what we hear weekly is these success stories of people going, I'm here because of the film or because of TC. So I'd like you to take away how you out of 10 from this 25 minutes with me, and that's it. Thank you.